So what is word study? Word study teaches students to examine, manipulate, and categorize words while focusing their attention on the critical features of sound, spelling, and meaning. Sound, spelling, and meaning. And this is the most important slide of the whole talk, because when I'm teaching word study, I'm actually teaching phonics, spelling, and vocabulary. We can be more efficient in our teaching by combining the three. So when I'm teaching spelling, I may be teaching phonics, or I may be teaching vocabulary. And my job today is to show you how this formula manifests itself in your teaching. So these are the activities that we'll pursue: word sorts, word hunts, notebooks, and you'll see all of these activities in my talk today if I can move fast enough. A big part is of word study is comparing and contrasting in our word sorts. The basic premise of sorting is that we want students to compare and contrast word elements, separating or categorizing those that do from those that don't. It's as simple as that. And because we want students to be literate, we have to work on their fast, accurate recognition of words in text. And when they're writing, the fast, accurate production of words so that they can concentrate on meaning. So word study is active, it's explicit, it's hands-on, it's student-centered, it's developmentally appropriate, and it ought to be a lot of fun. So let's look at the science of word study. In 96 with my colleagues, and all of my work is with colleagues, and I'm very lucky to work with the colleagues I have. And so in 1996, we started to introduce this word to you. If you don't know it, this is the big word today: orthography. Matter of fact, I have orthography behind me. Orthographer. The orthodontist makes your teeth straight. An orthopedic surgeon makes your bones straight. And if you're orthodox, so it means straight writing. And you can see how it wraps into this braid of literacy. And we called it a braid. We did discuss rope, but then in 2001, and this is where you see a lot of the science of reading people talking, using Scarborough's rope, and you can see how similar it is. Orthography is how words are spelled, how they look, how they mean. And a lot of these categories under language comprehension and word recognition are part of orthography. I'm going to show you that now. I'm going to show you this in a minute. I want to look quickly at something called structured literacy. The International Dyslexia Association promotes this model, if you will, and we wanted to show how word study is fitting into the structured literacy. So you may have a slide or some professional development on structured literacy, and you'll be able to see how word study relates to structured literacy and the components. I'm going to touch on all of these components as we go through the activities. In 2000, the National Reading Panel had these 5 areas that are essential to being literate, and we're focusing on phonemic awareness, phonics, and vocabulary. Fluency, you can't have fluency unless you have good phonics and phonemic awareness. And comprehension will suffer if vocabulary is not there. Now, just to be clear, the science of reading has come a long way since 2000, and we have more on writing and motivation and engagement generally. There's a reciprocal nature between reading and writing. It's part of that formula that reading influences writing and writing influences reading. Stephen King talks about it, that if you want to be a great writer, you have to do a ton of reading. So this is the term. I'm an orthographer, as you can see in back, but this is the term that combines reading and writing and phonics and morphology. And so Airy talks a lot about this, and Motes and Perfetti. We write a lot about it, as you can see at the bottom of the slide, and there's a link to this. Orthographic knowledge is essential to reading and writing, and it's what makes reading and writing part of the same process. And this is the developmental model that I've spent my entire career working on. And we can see 5 stages. I learned this at University of Virginia with Ed Henderson and my colleagues. And so we're going to start with the emergent stage and the emergent stage of reading and the emergent stage of spelling. And you can see how beginning reading goes with letter name spelling. I can look at a child's spelling and predict how they'll read. And inversely, I can look at your reading and look and think about your spelling. And I'll be right a lot of the time because of that orthography, that relationship between reading, writing, and spelling. So let's do a poll. This is sort of hard, but I can't go back to the previous stages. There are the stages there. Could you check off what stages you think your students are in? I used to run a reading center for 36 years, 2 reading centers in particular, and I needed to know what stage the children are in when I'm teaching and when I'm trying to guide the tutoring that's going on in our tutoring programs. So if my tutors, the tutors need to know what stage of reading, what stage of spelling the students are in. And as you can see, perhaps, we have a lot of middle letter name within that middle area. Good. But we'll cover all 5 stages. And so let's do that. Thank you for participating. All right, 2 points. There are 3 layers to every writing system. Now, I call this alphabet, but it sounds simple. Think of Chinese, it wouldn't be alphabet except for pinyin or alphabet, pattern, meaning. 3 layers underlie all writing systems. But the equation for how much is alphabet, how much is pattern, how much is meaning will change by the writing system you're trying to read. So in Chinese, the meaning layer moves up a little bit. In Spanish, the alphabet layer will extend further. So if you're teaching children from other written languages, it's very helpful to know about their written language to understand how they're matching up alphabet, pattern, and meaning. And what that is phonology, orthography, and morphology. Now, that's a $10 word that I need you to know. It's the structure of words, like prefixes and Latin roots, number 22. And so the alphabet is the phonology. And what we did here is we put the skills, the scope and sequence, if you will, along the bottom row. And you can see from 1 to 25 skills, divided by alphabet, pattern, and meaning. Let me talk about spelling. Spelling, as I've said, is a part of literacy instruction. Spelling is designed from colonial days in America to teach students about phonics, vocabulary, and the structure of words. Students, this is from Graham's work, I think, students learn more about reading from spelling than they do about spelling from reading. And so we have reconceptualized why and how we're teaching spelling. The point of spelling is to help students with their word study and their reading.